We are HTLA Radio 1. You will lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. We will add your distinctiveness, your advertisers, and your sponsors to our own. Resistance is futile.
Ladies and gentlemen, HTLA 97.3 FM in New York proudly presents rock superstar Crash Jesus.
Thank you. That's some fun stuff there, huh? All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be to you. You are tuned to another fine edition of Crash Talk on HTLA Radio 1. Yes, the title of today's show is 420 Kills. Yes, and you may think from reading the description and coming into the show, oh, he's going to be all up in pot smokers' faces because it's a gateway drug. No, not at all. Not one little bit, actually. No, today's show is actually marked explicit, and it's not because I'm going to be sitting here rattling off every kind of bad word I can possibly think of without a prescription. No, it's going to be actually some pretty severe content. Yeah, severe, as in bad, as in what are we coming to America, and indeed, in some cases the world. But no, this one's going to be a little bit more social commentary, and it's actually going to be a little bit leaning to the favor of the 420ers out there. Yes, it is. Yeah, anyway, thank you all for joining us. We got a big show today. Usually we only run half hour on Crash Talk as the general rule, but we're going to be going a little bit longer today. Yes, another 6 or 7 hours. No, I'm just kidding. It's only going to be an hour show, or, thereabouts. But long and the short of it is, I'm going to bring to you what I always do, which is my hard-hitting opinions right in the gut of society and America and all those good things in between. So there you go. Now, I'd like to thank HTLA for actually putting me on. Yes, it's getting hard to get good gigs these days, and this one is, so I'm pretty appreciative of it. So thanks to HTLA. You can check out all our shows at HTLA by going to HTLA973.com. Yes, that's a good thing, isn't it, kids? That's right. Yeah, I've still got the kids slaving away here, working for peanuts. Well, actually, not even peanuts. I don't even think I fed them today, but that's okay. What are we here for? We're here for entertainment, right, kids? That's right. So the first story that is taking the great attention of the grand poobah that is Crash is, of course, and I know you've heard about this, the discrimination case in which a bakery owner faces up to a year in prison if the court rules against him and he continues to refuse to make wedding cakes for gay couples. Yep, I'm going there. Now, where do I start? I like gay couples. I do. I have a number of friends who are gay couples. One of my best friends since I was 11 years old is a gay couple. Well, he's a gay man. But I think I've been exposed to more gay couples than anyone on the face of the planet. Oh, well, you might disagree, but I beg to defer. Yes, I do, because I actually do have these friends. They do exist. They are real. And, gosh darn it, all my life. I haven't ever been one to have any kind of hate towards, well, any group or individual, really, with some small exceptions of certain individuals who, on certain actions, I would then, definitely judge hatred upon and unleash the wrath of Crash. Yes, but no, I'm not particularly active in any hate groups that I'm aware of. Well, I don't know. Maybe CRASHTalk can be considered a hate group. I kind of lay it out there for you. I give my 2 cents and I ask America, what the F is their problem? Yes, that's what I do here. So, here we go. We've got this actually went down in Denver. A Colorado baker who refused to make a wedding cake for same-sex ceremony shouldn't be forced to violate his religious beliefs, his attorney told a judge, deciding whether the cake maker should be forced to accommodate gay couples. But an attorney representing a gay couple countered Wednesday, this would be last Wednesday, that the baker's faith doesn't give him the right to discriminate. Well, the attorney for CRASHTalk says what would give him not the right to discriminate? I mean, we have long seen, heck, we'll go back to the 50s in America. Let's talk about the segregation. Get in the back of the bus, Blackie. Negroes unwelcome. Negroes not wanted. Yes, that is part of our history, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And, I mean, there's a bunch of people out there who'd be like, well, ever since they got equal rights and emancipation and all that good stuff, all they've been doing is a pain in the ass, and now everything's rapid and axing. Well, you might have a point there, too, but this show is specifically about this baker and whether he has the right of refusal to serve a customer. That's really what the meat of the situation here, what it really boils down to. And I mean, let's kind of put that into context. Let's go on one of Crash's little magical tours. Let's kind of figure this one out. Okay, so let's say you and me, whoever you are or whoever you may be to you, you and me, we decide, hey, you know what? Let's open a lumber yard. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? We could sell lumber and hammers and stuff. Yeah, that'd be good. Let's do that. Okay. Well, we open up our lumber yard, and damned if we aren't successful. And next thing you know, we've got lumber yards all across the state, and within 5 years, we're on Fortune magazine because we've now, got lumber yards all across the country. We're exporting to 19 other countries, and we're just the greatest thing since sliced bread. Home Depot is just like, where did these guys come from? I didn't see this coming. Who are these guys? Okay, so that's you and me in our successful business in only 5 years, which is phenomenal. Which is why we're on the cover of Forbes. Now, yes. Now let's add another hypothetical to the mix. Let's say you, whoever you are white. Even if you're not, play with me. Let's say you're white and I'm black. That's right. Black man. I'm CEO of the lumber yard. That's right. Okay, so I'm black, you're white, and we're partners. And we now own this international corporation that is, well, we're putting lumber everywhere. And hammers and bandsaws and all that other good stuff. And one of our stores gives us a call up at head office one day. And it's the manager of the store. And he's like, yeah, this is manager from 247B. We got some gentlemen here in white robes and, hoods. And they's wanting to buy us up all the 8x8 beams we can give them. And they're talking about stringing black people up and lighting them on fire. Should we sell them those beams? Yeah, and you and I get a call because we're in our big, sexy corporate office, and we're just hanging out, drinking, I don't know, whatever your favorite drink is. And we're just sitting there smoking our cigars or whatever we're smoking, maybe pot. And, we get this call up from the board of directors. They're all up in arms. Yes, their arms are actually up and flailing around. And they're freaking out because they're like, well, we've got the situation. The manager at the store at 237B or whatever, the KKK is trying to buy beams off him to go string up black people and light them on fire. Do we sell them the beams? And out of my mouth, okay, because while I am black, I'm the corporate head of this company and I want to sell beams, don't I? Out of my mouth comes something that you would not expect. Out of my mouth comes, are they willing to pay full price or are they trying to get some sort of discount? What's the problem? Because you have to understand, my perspective is going to shift from just being the po black man to being a black man in America as a CEO of an international lumber corporation. My only interest is to sell more lumber. Okay, you with me still? Okay, so you and I have this conversation. We're like, well, geez, what do we do? Do we sell them the beams? Do we give them a discount? Maybe your side of the argument is, hey, let's give them a discount. Whatever the final outcome is, if we decide as a corporate entity, as a company, to phone back that manager and say, you know what, Bob, we've thought about this, we've worked it out, we're just going to have to refuse those KKK and their beam order. Apologize for us, but we just don't feel right in good conscience to do that. And maybe, with that recommendation, refer them over to Home Depot. Make it their problem, right? Absolutely. And you know what? Any corporate representative anywhere in America would agree with me in saying, yes, passing the buck in this situation is a good thing. So that's what we do. Yep, that's it. End of story, right? Wrong. Now we've got the KKK lawyers coming after us saying, you don't have the right to refusal. But you see, here's the difference. From my scenario to what's going on with this bakery owner is the fact that he's discriminating, specifically, and I underscore, against a gay couple. Because to be a gay couple right now is very popular. Oh, it's so on trend. It's in, don't you know? But being in the KKK is not. Now, isn't that interesting? Because if you rewind back to 1950, being in the KKK was pretty cool. You were a community leader if you were in that organization. Okay, so now everything's shifted. Okay? So now it's no longer okay to be in the KKK. I should have called this show K. Shootout at the Coquet Corral, yeah. So do you see where I'm at here with this? It all goes back to right of refusal. Okay? Now, I'm not going to mention the cake shop because I'm sure he's got enough bad press and BS over this already. But this couple, they wanted to buy a cake last year, but when one of the shop owners, Jack Phillips, found out that the cake was to celebrate a gay wedding, he turned the couple away and cited his religious faith. Okay, well, whoa, stop the buses now. Now, if you look back at our lumber company, we didn't stop the KKK from buying their beams from us because you were religious or I was black, did we? We made the choice to pass the buck simply for our overall corporate agenda and keeping our bottom line and profits in mind. Because that's what we do. We're Fortune 500, guys. But these guys are saying that it goes against Mr. Phillips' religious faith. Okay? Now, here's where I have another huge problem with this. Church and state are not supposed to be in the same bed. Okay? Separation of church and state. It's out there. Look it up. So he's citing his religious faith. Ergo, de facto definition time, gang. Nobody has a legal claim on whether he can or cannot. Okay? It'd be different if you and I at the lumberyard were like, well, yeah, no, we just don't feel like it. We don't like your sheets. We don't like the way you smell. What happened to no shirt, no shoes, no service? Those signs are still up everywhere, aren't they? So it's okay. You have to have a shirt and shoes to get service. While you come in and get, your cake and you're a gay couple, with or without shoes or shirts, you're still getting no service because it's this man's religious faith. Nothing to do with courts, nothing to do with laws of the land. In fact, I would put it to anybody that this man's religious faith is higher than all of that combined. And you got to understand, I'm saying this not from a religious point of view because I think that's all BS. Okay? So understand my argument, understand my perspective and where I'm coming from here. If he has a problem with them being gay due to whatever his religion is, right of refusal still applies. But that's the defense he's using, and that's what's going on with that whole thing. But why the big uproar? Right of refusal has been around in American business since early 1900s. Absolutely. So why all of a sudden is the right of refusal now a problem because it happens to be targeted at a gay couple? This is where I lose my shit. Okay? This is where it stops being fun and starts being what? That this is not cool. This should be unacceptable to all of us, not just gay couples. So what? There's not more places to buy cake? Of course there is. And do you think Jack owns the entire cake decorating business in that state? Of course he doesn't. So, kind of like my show last week where we talked about the little girl in Oregon who was crying the blues because she couldn't sell her mistletoe because she just didn't feel like buying a $10 permit. This gay couple, I submit to you, doesn't want to let this go because this is news. This is world news. This just can't be tolerated. Oh my God. Bullshit. It's bullshit. Simple, straight, calling it like it is. This baker absolutely does have the right of refusal, same as you and I with our lumber company, same as anybody in business anywhere. I don't care if you own a little corner store or a little gas bar. You can refuse service to anybody, and you don't need to give them a reason. It used to be the old saying, we don't want your kind here. But then your kind infers a group. And, of course, that's not tolerable anymore. But if I don't want to sell you a cake, I'm not going to sell you a cake. What my reasons are completely irrelevant to you. You as the customer, all you need to know is, well, I'd like this cake, and it's got to be this way, and it's got to be that way, and it's got to be one. Oh, well, I'm sorry, sir, we can't sell you a cake. Please be on your way. Have a nice day. Okay, so, yeah, this whole thing, absolutely, utterly ridiculous. Now, the world... I'm going to say the world. It's like 7 billion people have commented on this back and forth, and they're all fighting like idiots because you'd have to be to not see this for what it is, which is just so much BS. The people can just go to another cake shop. I don't care who you are or what your corporation is or what you sell. There's competition. There's other places to go. Maybe stop whining so much. Stop trying to take the world to court and just focus on and enjoy your new gay marriage. Why do you need another parade? You're going to have the big celebratory post-legal Supreme Court decision parade where the Supreme Court yet rules again in favor of tightening the restrictions on everybody else for your gay marriage? That's not cool. Nope, not in the least it ain't. So that's the Baker story. That's my opinion. And that's the way it is, America. Yeah. That's the Baker man. Now it only gets worse from here, people, but we've got to take our first 2-minute break. So when we come back, we're going to talk about Maine threatening to take a baby over homemade goat milk formula. Yeah, you heard that one right. We're going to take the baby away because you're feeding it goat milk. Stay tuned.
Hi, welcome to Toyota. I'm Jan.
Hi, Jack's gonna pick us a car.
Yeah, Toyota is so reliable, he could drive it one day. Great timing. It's our Toyota Time Sales event.
Camry, safe, reliable. What color?
Oh, red with a cool stereo. We have that.
Now you can get a new 2013 Camry with 0% financing. Or lease this Camry LE now for just $299 a month. And you get Toyota Care 2-year maintenance. Toyota, let's go places.
The images you're about to see may be difficult to look at. Sadly, every year millions of innocent cakes are mangled, mistreated, and hurt. But there is something you can do. Go to the freezer section and pick up new Cool Whip frosting. It's whipped, fluffy, and perfectly sweet, so it spreads on easily, leaving cakes unharmed. Please help. Cool Whip frosting. Together, we can change the way cakes are frosted.
It's a stick revolution. Now skin goes shine-free and naturally matte in just one step. New 50 Stick Foundation from Maybelline, New York. The first of its kind. Fresh gel foundation with an anti-shine powder core inside. Dissolves oil while it blends to a natural matte finish. For coverage that is fresh, flawless, one step perfect. New 50 Stick Foundation from Maybelline.
Stick with us.
What are we going to do today?
Stay strong. Take on the heat. Bounce back.
Get healthy looking hair that stands up to styling. Discover Platinum Strength, new from Tresemme. It repairs up to 2 years of damage by reinforcing hair's natural protective barrier. For resilient hair with all its beautiful strength, what will you do with your salon strong, chill-worthy hair? Tresemme, professional, affordable.
HTLA Radio 1.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we know where to go, make it so, make it so, make it so. Man doesn't show signs of stopping. And I brought me some tea Earl Grey hot. The lights turned way down below. Make it so, make it so, make it so. When we finally kiss goodnight, I hate going out in the storm. But if you...
Really?
Shut up, Wesley! All the way home, I'll be
warm. All the fire is slowly dying. And my dear,
we're still goodbye men, but as long as you love me so, make it so. Make it so. Make it so.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays! Yeah, shut up and go away. Happy holidays, damn it. We are back, gang. You're listening to Crash Talk 420 Kills on HTLA Radio 1. So as I said before the break, we're going to be talking about Maine threatening to take a baby away over homemade goat milk formula, huh? Isn't that great? You like the goat milk, don't you, kids? Oh, yes, you do. You betcha. That's nummy stuff. Anywho, in a warning to all parents who make healthy homemade baby formula for their children instead of feeding them toxic GMO-laced commercial formula, don't tell a conventionally minded doctor, or else your baby might end up in foster care. Yeah, what do you think, kids? Foster care! Ah! Gotta love the foster care. Actually, our next show, topic here on the show today, you won't be liking foster care too much. But the Maine Department of Health and Human Services quickly responded when a doctor reported Alora, and that's when things got messy. A state came in and threatened to take Carson away and put him in foster care unless Alora followed the orders to have the baby examined by a doctor. Unbelievably, the Human and Health Services also mandated an overnight hospital stay and a switch back to store-bought GMO commercial formula. This was court-ordered and force-fed. Despite complying with every single DHHS demand, Gellerson, who receives state benefits, oh, okay, she's on the food stamps, that's why she's a bad mother, is still being harassed with threats of foster care for her son. She says, I hope this all goes away. It's been horrible and hard on us. We're just trying to live our lives, and they keep bothering us. I just want it all to be over, she says. Here's the interesting thing about this one, okay? She is from Holland. Yeah, I'm going to say Holland. With the wooden shoes, yeah? And in Holland, the number one countrywide freaking prescribed, happy, closest thing you can get to mother's milk is goat milk formula. This is a family tradition. It's been handed down in her family for generations, if not, longer. And government's deciding to stick its face into this issue now. I don't know. I'm just kind of rewinding a little bit. Did Obama say anything on this platform about getting into your baby rearing? I don't remember that part. Maybe I was stoned. Yeah. Maybe I was stoned. That's it. The Department of Health and Human blah, blah, blah refused to comment and instead directed inquiries to its website for the procedures they follow, one of which is from the USDA, which states that goat milk is not recommended for infants because of inadequate quantities of certain vitamins. Interesting, right? So what one country accepts as absolutely perfect and no problem, and we've been doing it for centuries, it's not okay with the USDA. Sounds like a Ramones song. It's not okay with the USDA. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. Jack Flourish, the Osteopathic Center for Family Medicine in Hampton, disagrees with the state saying. He says, I don't know what's really driving it other than perhaps some cultural belief system. I've got plenty of kids in my practice that have been given goat's milk, for example, and they're growing and developing just fine. In fact, no long-term effects whatsoever. Some of my patients I've known from infant to 49 years old. Okay, that's one of our own doctors saying that, by the way. Yeah. But what do doctors know? They only go to school for 8 years, right? Anywho, it gets worse. Oh, yes. Yes. It gets much worse. How about this? How about a child taken from a womb by social services? How about that? Whoa, that's got to be like a record first, I think. Better call Guinness. By Job, they've taken it from the womb before the parent has actually had a chance to be a parent. Yes, not even kidding here. Essex Social Services have obtained a court order against a woman that allowed her to be forcibly sedated and for her child to be taken from her womb by cesarean section. A pregnant woman has had her baby forcibly removed by C-section by social workers. Essex Social Services obtained a high court order against the woman that allowed her to be forcibly sedated and her child taken from her womb. The council said it was acting in the best interest of the woman, an Italian who was in Britain on a work trip, because she had suffered a mental breakdown. Okay, a little bit of backstory here. This woman was bipolar. So what, now bipolar people can't be parents? Is that what we're saying? Yes. The case has developed into an international legal fight with lawyers for the woman describing it as unprecedented. Well, yeah, I guess so, because, I just gave you a story about, the latest child services debacle from America here, and now in Britain. Yes, Great Britain. Stiff upper lip and all that. Everything that's proper. Have removed a fetus from a womb with a court order citing that person is going to be in the future a bad parent because they're bipolar. Wow. So that's like convicting you on something you're going to do in the future. You just don't know it yet. Is this starting to sound like science fiction movies? Because it seems to me it's starting to sound like science fiction movies or something. But wait, it's not science fiction. It's actually happening right now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to let that sink in a second because, when I first read that, I just lost my shit. What? Yeah. Brendan Fleming, who is the woman's British lawyer, told the Sunday Telegraph, "I have never heard of anything like this in all my 40 years on the job. I can understand if someone is very ill that they may not be able to consent to a medical procedure, but a forced cesarean is unprecedented. If there were concerns about the care of this child by an Italian mother, then the better plan would have been for the authorities to have been notified social services in Italy for the child to have been taken back there." The case reported by Christopher Booker in the column this Sunday in the Sunday Telegraph raises fresh questions about the extent of social workers' powers. It will be raised in Parliament later this week by John Hemming, a Liberal Democrat MP. He chairs the Public Family Law Reform Coordinating Campaign, which wants reform and greater openness in court proceedings involving family members. He said, "I have seen a number of cases of abuses of people's rights in the family courts, but this has to be one of the more extreme. It involves the Court of Protection authorizing a cesarean section without the person concerned being made aware of what was proposed. I worry about the way these decisions about a person's mental capacity are being taken without any apparent concern as to the effect on the individual being affected directly." The woman, who cannot be named for legal reasons, that's why I gave her that monkey name, is an Italian national who came to Britain in July last year to attend a training course with an airline, the Stansted Airport in Essex. She suffered a panic attack, actually, where her relations believe was due to her failure to take regular medication for an existing bipolar condition. Now, with bipolar folks, this is a common thing. It is. It's a very common thing because, you're bipolar, you get on the medication, everything's fine. Well, everything's fine because you're on the medication, but when you're bipolar, you start to think, oh, no, everything's fine. I don't even need that anymore. It's been so long since I went crazy and killed a family of 3. I'm fine. I don't need it. And they just go off and stop taking it. And then next thing you know, all hell breaks loose. And yeah. But I mean, nothing had happened to that point. That's like going up to a couple of guys in a bar and going, you 3 guys right there. Yeah, you in the corner. You're going to commit an armed robbery sometime soon. So we're going to take you into custody now and charge you with that and summary judgment and have a nice time in jail. It's no different. It's exactly the same thing. That's what's going on there. Doesn't that make you mad? Or do you not care? Well, if you don't care, you might be in that demographic that is 420, dude. Yes, you might. You might be one of those pot-smoking hippies that doesn't care about what the government does, who they do it to, or when it happened, or anything else, because all you care about is getting high. So, yep. Let's get high. Excellent. Yeah, well, maybe stand up and get off the hookah and take notice, gang, because I have a story now about a foster mother beating a toddler to death after she was taken from her biological pot-smoking parents. Yes. And no, this isn't in Britain, and no, it's not in Canada, and no, it's not in Dubai. Nope. It's not even anywhere in Africa. It's in Austin, Texas. Yep. Big star state. You betcha. You don't get more American than Texas, do you? No, sir. Well, a foster mother in Austin, Texas has been charged with beating a toddler to death after she was placed in her care because social services found her biological parents smoking pot. Oh, yes, the nasty green weed. Kids, your parents smoke pot, don't they? Yeah. See? And there's no problem. Kids are fine. See? Seriously, though, emergency services responded to a 911 call from Cheryl Small, 54 years old, on Monday, the 29th of July, asking them to come to her house because a 2-year-old Alexandria Hill was not breathing. The tragic tot later, not a tragic tot, damn, too much pot, The tragic tot later died in the hospital from brain hemorrhage, and the doctors told police that the explanation Small gave them for the child's injuries were not consistent with her wounds. Well, no big surprise there. The little girl's life support machine was switched off on Wednesday the 31st of July, and Small was arrested and charged with murder the next day, allegedly admitting to authorities that she had thrown Alexandra to the ground. Yeah, threw her to the ground, she died. Yep, that's my story. Her distraught pot-smoking parents, Mary Sweeney and Joshua Hill, are now working to file a suit against the state and foster agency. Texas mentor for placing their child in the care of Small in the first place. She was placed into foster care for neglectful supervision because her mother and I smoked pot at the time, explained Hill to KXAN. According to court records, Alexandria's mother has a medical condition that does not allow her to be left alone on her own with her child, and Hill's marijuana use had become so bad he almost dropped his daughter down the stairs. Almost, I would underscore there, not dropped her. Okay? So, it's also interesting to note here a little bit of background. Okay, because it's not just the stories, it's the background that's kind of important here. So, getting into some of the background. Well, let's talk about the parents. The parents, who are not together, handed Alexandria to Hill's mother to care for until the state intervened on November 26th. So they basically get the warning, this is not cool, you're smoking pot, you have to deal with this or we're going to. So they did. Hey, Mom, can you take care of Alexandra for a while? We got to get high. Whatever the deal was. According to the Department of Family and Protective Services, the family disagreed who should take custody of the girl and decided to involve the CPS themselves until both Mom and Dad got their lives in order. Fair enough. Everybody deserves a chance, right? You bet. Oh, wait, no. Hill told My Fox Austin that his daughter had always seemed happy with Small and that the events of last week came as a horrifying shock. Indeed, Hill realized something was seriously amiss when the 54-year-old foster parent began to change her story about what happened. The first thing that she said happened was Alex was running the house towards the kitchen, and she slipped and fell backwards and hit her head on the ground. Bullshit, said Hill to My Fox Austin. Straight off the bat, BS, there's no way in hell. Forgive my language, but I think that BITCH lost her mind and slammed my daughter in the ground, and I think somebody should do the same to her. Hill saw his daughter just days before her death. He went to McDonald's to have lunch. She played in the playground. He said, tearing up. I never really thought that I would... Yes, there we go. I never really thought that would be the last bit of time I would spend with her or would have done more. When the state intervened at Alexandria's parents' request, the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, TDFPS, placed her with Small in January. The TDFPS concluded that through the assessment of the Department of Family members of the parents, it appears the parents have limited parenting skills and need to develop their understanding of being protective of their child until these services are offered. The department does not feel either parent can be the sole caregiver of the child. And they're now investigating the Texas mentor. Yes, let's pass it off on him. Residential child care licensing will take a closer look at how Texas mentor made their decision to license the Smalls. So that means we're going to take a closer look at the background checks that were done. Were all the background checks supposed to be done and completed? The training? Was all the training done? Was everything done the way it was supposed to be done? Explained Department of Child Services spokesperson, yes, I can speak, Julie Moody. And on Friday, Texas Mentor acknowledged it's performing an internal review. All of us at Texas Mentor are terribly saddened by this tragedy. As an organization dedicated to protecting the caring of small children, we're appalled by the allegations involving one of our foster parents, said the state director, as we'd expect, Wendy Bagwell. In a written statement by KVUE, Alexandria was buried on Monday, and Cheryl Small is in jail on a $100,000 bond. Now, a little more into the backstory. These parents for whatever they are, they're just average parent. You know, what, you got to be like mom and dad of the year now? Do you have to have a reality show before Child Services leaves you alone? Is that where we're at? Because neither one of these parents has a previous criminal record. Neither one of these parents has a disposition to violence. Neither one of these parents has any sort of problem whatsoever except the perceived problem of marijuana. Perceived problem of marijuana. Okay? I don't know if y'all have had any good weed, but every single time I ever smoked up, pretty much the last thing I would do is anything violent. Hell, the last thing I would do would be to move. You know, that stuff just levels you out, man. You just mellow. You know, if you're a bag of corn chips, you might have a serious frickin' problem. But if you're my 2-year-old running around the house, I'm not going to care, dude. Absolutely not. And I think I could get probably 7 billion experts to testify to that in court. So if that's the case, what's the problem? Oh, wait, it's just like the gay thing in The Baker. Pot smoking isn't popular anymore. That's not cool. Oh, it's a gateway drug. You'll start doing cocaine and heroin and meth and crack and rock, and before you know it, you'll be a member of the MS-13 and you'll be murdering babies. Oh, but wait, the MS-13 doesn't murder babies, do they? No. Well, we'll get to them. Do you see the problem here? Anybody? Write me. Crash at htla973.com. Seriously? Nobody sees a problem with this. They smoke pot. It's not natural-born killers. Okay? So, well, as I sit here butting out my second cigarette of the show, I'm forced to wonder if, gee, what's next? They're going to take my kids away because I smoke cigarettes? Really? You know, quite often I watch movies, and a lot of the movies that I watch, I would say the most, are science fiction because, you know, they're mostly interesting to me. And, you know, you look at a movie like Oblivion there with Tom Cruise, and you ignore the plot and the story and all that stuff. You look at the technology, you look at the setting, you look at the condition of the planet, you look at the people, and you look at how we've lost everything. And I'm not just talking about buildings and cars. I'm talking about even personality. Because of these new world orders and this new way that we are as a species. I think I'm just going to go ahead and say it because I'm a crazy man. But yes, okay. I'm going to say it after our break. I'll be right back.
Lifts to clear obstacles. Lowers to cut drag. Rises to every challenge. The class exclusive air suspension in the new 2013 Ram 1500. Engineered to move heaven and earth. Guts, glory, Ram.
After my accident, I had serious pain to deal with. That's when I started using Salonpas. I never felt stronger relief. Salonpas is the strongest labeled pain reliever available without a prescription. It's proven to relieve mild to tougher, moderate pain, something no other OTC pain reliever can claim. And Salonpas is the only FDA-approved topical pain reliever that provides up to 12 full hours of serious relief.
Salonpas, powerful relief when and where you need it.
Hi, welcome to Toyota's #1 for everyone sales event. I'm Jan.
Hi, we're here to get a safe, reliable car for college.
We have lots to choose from.
Let's take a look.
I'm so psyched out of my mind.
You coming?
Yes, Father.
Now you can get a new 2013 Corolla with 0% financing. Or you can lease this new 2013 Corolla LE now for just $169 a month. And while you're here, check out the all-new RAV4. Toyota, let's go places.
For some families, it's the park time. For others, it's the pool time. And there are those who love the nighttime most of all.
We know that every family is different. And now you can save up to 30% on rooms at select Walt Disney World Resort hotels for a vacation that gives your family just what they want.
So don't wait. Let the memories begin at the place where dreams come true.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays! Yes. Yes. Happy holidays. Don't I sound so festive there? Doesn't that just knock you out and say, wow, what the F? You are back. You are listening to Crash Talk on HTLA Radio 1 New York. It's our special show, 420 Kills. We've had a lot of fun so far today, talking about, bakers that won't give gay couples their cake, and, yes, parenting on the whole. Really, everything else. And getting back to my point, before the break, I had been just about to tell you my big finale, my big opinion. Here it is. Here it comes. Don't we have more important things to worry about? It drives me nuts. I mean, since when is it everybody else's job to parent your children? Since when? Why? What? It just seems to me, call me crazy, but for the 25,000 years before 20 years ago, if your mind can go back that far, we actually have been parenting our kids pretty much self-directed, haven't we? There hasn't been an issue, has there? Really? If you stop and look at the last 25 years and what we deal with now with kids, well, what do we got? Mass school shootings. Yeah, that was big in 1910 too, wasn't it? Or 1830. How about we go back to that great school slaughter of 1629 in Paris? Oh, wait. None of that existed. None of it. Absolutely none of it. You find me a case of a mass school shooting before 20 years ago, I'll be safe. I'll be safe. I'll say 25 years ago. Find me one of those. You find it, send it to me, crash, HTLA973.com. I dare you. Mm-hmm. And I know there's a bunch of my listeners who do a lot of fact-checking and like to stuff things in my face when I'm wrong. And in the entire run of Crash Talk, I've only been wrong once. And that was corrected on the following episode with that person's correct information. So, again, I challenge you. You show me anything like that. Anything where kids were taken away from their parents for smoking pot or cigarettes or dancing in their window at 8 o'clock at night or whatever the stupid reason of the week is. You show me an instance pre-25 years ago where the kid would not only be taken out of the home and put in a foster home, but murdered there. It's funny. We've raised the bar so bloody high on what you have to be politically correct. We've thrown celebrities at you left, right, and center, telling you've got to absolutely 100% be behind their cause because they're celebrities and they say so. And if you like the movies they make or the TV shows they do, you've got to get behind their cause, goddammit. And that's why these causes use them as spokespeople, by the way. That's to appeal to you. Oh, I like Charlton Heston, so I'm all for guns. Actually, I don't. Well, yeah. I'm still confused on that. Thanks, Michael Moore. I like guns. I used to like Charlton Heston. Don't like Charlton Heston anymore. Still like guns, if that makes any sense. And who the leader of the NRA is right now, or the chairman, I couldn't tell you because I don't care. Because the NRA has got their own agendas, don't they? You remember in the 60s when the unions started up? All the big unions? Mm-hmm. They were there fighting for you and me, the little man, down at the old plant, getting us some decent wages and benefits. Yeah, remember them? They got their own agenda now. They take all your dues and give you nothing. And when you've actually got a grievance, and when you've actually got a real situation and you lose your job for whatever reason, you've got no recourse. Sorry, it's not in our mandate to help you now, but thanks for your dues for the last 20 years. They're just yet another organization. So, what organization benefits from taking your kids away and having them murdered by foster parents? Well, I guess none, really. It doesn't look too good for the foster parents. It certainly doesn't look good for child services. But then again, we're not expecting anything to look good from child services, are we? Because every time we hear about them in the news, it's always negative. It's always bad connotations, isn't it? Well, we had to take the baby away from this family because this blonde girl here looks a little too much like a prostitute and she's blowing a bubble with her bubble gum. She clearly is incapable of raising a child. That's an assumption and a perspective based sheerly on an observation. And as in recent months and weeks, so many people have, pointed out to me that, Crash, that's just your perspective on a certain thing. You can't come to judgments about people. You just can't do it because what do you know? Well, this woman over here has got bleach blonde hair and really nice body I'd like to get into, so she must be a prostitute, and she's blowing a bubble with bubble gum, so she's got to be stupid. That's my assertion from that image of that mom. Am I right? No. And if you say I am, please don't listen to my show anymore because clearly you're not of the intellect to really appreciate what this show's all about. But now we're taking kids away from two decent, no criminal record, no bad background, no prostitutes, no pimps, no drug dealers, no nothing. They just smoke pot. And here's another interesting little tidbit about this particular couple in Texas that's very important in my mind. Not only do they smoke pot, but they're fairly well known in their town. Yes, they are. Because of all the things that they do. They actually, I did some research, they actually fed hungry at a soup kitchen last Christmas. Okay? These are positive people trying to put positive things into their community. The work situation, you have to understand something. Oh, they're on food stamps. Yeah, you know what? Screw you. Since when is food stamps a bad thing? Aside from the fact that economically, we've got to be in pretty dire straits to have so many people on them. Maybe we should look at the dire straits and not so much at labeling the people on food stamps. I'm not sure if you guys know this or not, but over 4 million of our active, I'm not talking retired, I'm not talking veterans from Vietnam, active military personnel currently serving right freaking now, most of them deployed in freaking war zones for us. Their families are on food stamps. Still feel the same way? Well, you frickin' shouldn't. You should move to Canada or somewhere else because this country has no space for you. And that's my position. And I'm cutting it short because I'm going to get all sweary-like, and I shouldn't do that. And I've been warned. Our producer has spoken. So, no swear words for the folks on this one. How about that, kids? So, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the show. I hope you took something good from it, and I hope that... Well, I dearly hope to God that the majority of you agree with me and we need to make some serious changes. And I know this show and many other shows out there in radio land and the internet land, they all talk about change, but nobody actually gets up and does it. And that's why the governments around the world just kind of giggle and snort when we have rumblings and bang on that fence, because the bottom line is we're still outside that fence. And until we get a whole lot smarter in what's between our ears, we're always going to be outside that fence. These issues that matter so much to us that don't matter to the 1% who actually control all of this, well, they're certainly not going to change anything except for the worse. They're certainly doing that over the course of the last 20 years in almost every angle, almost everything you can think of. And we just allow it because they'll just come and bang on the fence for a few minutes and then they'll go away. And it's exactly what we do. We go have our demonstrations, and we go up to the Capitol and have our picket signs and get our little pictures put on Facebook with our picket signs, and somebody photoshops some cool slogan over what we're actually saying and puts that out as a funny pic. Ha ha. Yeah. Ha ha. Until next week, gang. I'm out. I appreciate everybody coming in, listening to the show. Thanks again to HTLA973.com for having me on. And once again, feel free, fire me off an email, crash@HTLA973.com, and give me your 2 cents. Until then, I'm out of here.
HTLA Radio 1.